Hi there, my name is Samuel, and at the age of 14, I set out to hike the Pacific Crest Trail by myself. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some things to take away and to prepare for and to understand for your thru hike or for any of your hiking adventures. The first thing I would recommend is give yourself time. I was on a tight time schedule. I was always rushed, and I unfortunately could not hike with the people I met on the trail and enjoyed hiking with, which I really missed, and which is a big aspect of hiking, is part of the social thing. And it's nice to be by yourself, but for me, I'm more of a social person, and I enjoyed the social aspect. And unfortunately, I was not able to hike with many people for a long time because I had a time schedule and I needed to push more miles, hike farther, and hike faster. So that was a main thing I experienced. So that's why you should give yourself time to hike. Set aside at least 5 months, or depending on the hike you're doing, it could be less, it could be more. Understand that it might take longer than you think, and just enjoy it. My second tip is train beforehand. This goes so far. There's many reasons why you should train beforehand. And I'm very happy I did, but not many other hikers that I met on trail actually did. 90% of the hikers that I saw that had trained beforehand did not get hurt. Well, like 60% of the hikers that I saw that did not train beforehand, they did get hurt, unfortunately. It didn't mean their hikes were ended, but it did mean they were set back, and it's just a rough start if you get hurt within the first few weeks. It's just a really rough start. That's why you should train beforehand. My third tip is, while you're on the trail, trust the process. Not everything is going to go perfectly while you're on the trail. There might be storms when you didn't prepare. You might have to skip a section here. You might have to go back. The person you might have set out with might quit, or you might need a break, or you might get injured. There are so many things that could set you back, or just trust the process, and it'll be a lot more enjoyable hike, and because otherwise you'll always be stressed and always be worried. So that's why you should just trust the process. My fourth tip for you, they're not actually sponsoring this video, but this is by far the best app that every single hiker has, and it's super helpful. So the app's called Far Out, and this basically tells you everything you need to know while hiking it, from campsites to water sources, and people can comment on this app, so then you will know this water source is dried out, or this water source is here, or there's a danger here, or bring your ice axe on this part. It's a very helpful app, and I would very recommend downloading it. Every single hiker I met had this. It was very, very helpful. I'll accept the sponsor. Okay, sorry. Fifth thing I would do is make sure you have a light pack. This is unbelievably huge, because if you have a heavy pack, you're going to be weighed down. There's like a 90% higher chance that you're going to get injured because of your weight. You're not going to be able to do as many miles as you want. You're just going to have a more miserable time. Yes, you might have a few more items to have fun and camp. You're normally either sleeping or hiking. So those items that you bring that are for a more comfortable camp or more comfortable bed, if you're out there thru hiking, it's not about full comfort. So it's important to not bring everything that you think you'll need. Keep a light pack, because it's going to be just a lot more enjoyable and a lot more easy hiking. You'll be able to do more miles. You'll be able to have a lot better time. So that's why you should have a light pack. I met on the second day a guy who had a 70-pound pack. He was only doing around 4 miles a day because of the sweltering weight of his pack, since he had brought everything that he thought he needed, which makes sense. Like, you do need a lot of things, but some things you don't need, you just want. And it's important to figure those out and choose carefully what items you bring, because your pack weight is going to be a key influence factor of your hike. For me, I had a dry base weight, so without food and water, pack weight of 13 pounds. My goal had been 10 pounds, and 13 pounds is light. But I would recommend keeping it on the lighter side of things. Just try to make sure your pack is light. I promise you that will go so far during your hike. My sixth tip for you is, don't take a long break. So in the Sierra, I had to skip a short section because of the really high rivers caused by a huge heat wave. Not really hot, but enough to melt a lot of snow in the Sierra. And so the rivers were extremely high. And so I had to skip a short section. I decided to take a week-long break to wait for other hikers that I was hiking with that were going to try and attempt the section. And I just grew so accustomed and started to enjoy normal life so much that it was really hard to go back to hiking. That was part of my tough decision to end my hike. Okay, my 7th tip for you is push through the hard days. Every single hiker, I promise you, every single hiker is going to have some hard days. You're going to have a day where you cry. You're going to have a day where days where you want to quit, multiple days, sometimes in a row, and just push through those hard times. That's my biggest advice. You're going to be very happy you did, so push through those hard times. Wait till you've had 3 good days before you decide to quit. That's the main thing hikers like to say. Quitting, you can regret that decision for the rest of your life. If you set out on the Pacific Crest Trail, that means you've quit your job or taken a break from it. You've set aside 5 months of your life to head out and hike this. You've spent a lot of money. You've been saving up for a while. It's a big endeavor, and so just don't give it all up over one bad day or a few bad days. I know you might say, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. It'll be no big deal. I will go through hard days, but they're gonna be hard. They're gonna be tough, but push through them. I promise you, there's a light at the end of the tunnel during those days, and that's going to be a huge factor in your success of the hike. Without pain, without suffering, there would be no point in hiking it. There would be no satisfaction. If it wasn't hard, there would be no point. There would be a point, but everybody would do it. So then it's just like a common thing. It's going to be hard and it's going to be painful, but pushing through those hard days, I promise you, it's 100% worth it, and you're going to have the time of your life. Looking at my notepad here to make sure I remember all these key points for you. Start out easy. This is a huge, huge part. I started out, my first day was 8 miles. My next day was 12 miles. The day after that was 15 miles. I started out really easy. Despite having done like a lot of 15-mile hikes for training, I started out really easy so I would not get injured. And this was a key factor in the success of my hike. A few other people I was hiking with during the first few weeks, unfortunately, they had to end their hike because of injuries. It was really, really sad to see lots of hikers drop out. Over 70% of hikers don't complete the trails, and a big portion of that is because of injuries. So really start out slow and make sure you've trained beforehand before heading out. I promise you that will be a key factor in your success. 2 weeks in, after I'd been doing a lot of 60-mile days, I did my first 22-mile day. It was all downhill. It was 8,000 feet of descent. So it was a big day, but I wanted to make it to town and eat some town food and sleep in a nice bed off my air mattress and sleeping bag. And so I pushed through, but the next day my ankle was severe pain and I had to get it popped back into place. And that just shows over just one long day, 2 weeks in, after lots of preparing, I still got injured. And after that, a few days later, I was able to start actually pushing bigger miles. But it shows you that don't push very hard days from the beginning, because you will get injured if you do. Other hikers that I talked to before heading out on my adventure told me about their injuries. Almost every hiker gets injured. Hopefully that won't be you. And if that is you, hopefully you'll be able to get past it. But training beforehand reduces the injury risk. So definitely train beforehand and start out easy so you don't get hurt. Safety on trail is a big thing I was wondering about, and so were my parents. They were very worried about this. Everybody actually I met was worried about this, including me, because walking through the middle of the desert by yourself at the age of 14, couldn't get kidnapped or just get blown off the side of the cliff. How are other people at road crossings? Is someone going to wait there? And I don't know. Whatever's in your imagination. Whatever is in your imagination has probably happened. So it's a great reason to worry. But I promise you, the trail is unbelievably safe. Every single person I met out there was super kind. Everybody helped each other out, and everybody I met was unbelievably kind, except for one guy I met 650 miles in, who was so great. I have another video on that encounter, but other than that, every single person I met was super kind. I never met anyone sketchy other than that. At road crossings, not all of them, but a few of them, there's actually people out there with food and drinks for you, and they're called trail angels, and they basically gave you some fresh food for free. So the community is amazing, and all the other hikers are really kind, and it's a really supportive and kind environment. it really brought my faith in humanity. It was a big worry that we all had, but it actually really brought up my faith in humanity. Hitching, I never had a bad hitch. Hitching did scare me though. I waited for other groups, or I'd hike a few extra miles to catch up to another group so I could hitch with them, since I always wanted to hitch with others just for safety precautions. Also, whenever I was with a group, I could just hitch with them. So if you want to be safe for hitching, maybe just hitch with a group. I only had safe hitches, and all the hitches were really kind. And you can also always say no. That's a big part of hitching too. If you don't feel comfortable looking at the car or the people on it, you can always just say no, or there's always any excuse like, well, actually, where are you going? And you're like, oh yeah, I have to go to the next town after that, so thank you. Or I'm going somewhere else. You can just say that. Or you can say, oh, I'm waiting for someone. Sorry, but thank you so much for stopping by. So there's a lot of ways you can say no to a hitch if you don't feel safe with it too. But like, no one in the history of the trail has been kidnapped or shot. So those are not the things you actually should be worried about. You should be more worried about the river crossings and the snowy passes, the safety hazards on it. So that's a big worry I had going in, but hopefully that helps, because I would not worry about that. It's hard to know that. If someone had told me that beforehand, I would have said, yes, thank you, okay. But it's true. I promise you it's true. And I know this might not take away all your worries, but you don't need to worry about that. You need to have snow experience beforehand. This is a big question, and it really depends on your start date. If you're starting later in the season, and then in the Sierra don't have much snow, which is the one place, Sierra Mountains, that you're going to experience snow for the most part, except for a few other places like the San Jacinto or arriving into Washington Lake. But as long as you time your hike, you shouldn't have too much snow, and you can also skip around sections with snow and come back to them. I had a lot of snow actually during my hike, especially in the Sierra Nevada, since I was heading to them pretty early in the season. I was within like the top 100 hikers heading to the Sierra, so I did have a lot of snow. So planning for that, I trained with the ice axe beforehand and micro spikes, so I knew how to use my equipment in case, and I'm very glad I did. I would definitely recommend doing that. Almost every hiker had an ice axe I saw on micro spikes. I didn't meet a single one that knew how to use it, so I would definitely know how to use your gear. Otherwise, the ice axe is just not going to be helpful for you. If you have it in your hand even, you need to know how to use it to be able to stop yourself. It's not just like, just hammer into the snow when you're falling. It's a lot more than that. So I would learn how to use that. This is a bonus tip, but this is about nutrition. You should plan out the food that you like to make sure you're not eating stuff you just hate and you're tired of on the trail. So beforehand, on your preparation hikes, which you should be doing, I would try different bars each time. You don't need to buy them in bulk. You can just it's a little more expensive, but you can buy them each singularly from a store and find which bars you like, and then pick your top 3 favorites, top 5 favorites to bring, and try not to have any food that you're going to be using weeks and weeks on end every single day. Or if you are using it every single day, make sure you're not eating it a lot every single day. So have a variety. This is a big thing. You can get tired of your food really, really quickly on trail. So just know that when you're preparing for a hike, and make sure you have a lot of variety. You can dehydrate food beforehand, or you can just buy camping meals. Camping meals are a little bit more expensive. There's a lot of videos on dehydrating food and great recipes out there if you want to do that. So those are 2 great options I would think about. But definitely plan out your nutrition beforehand. It's not a last minute thing. It's definitely something that needs planning. It's a big part of your hike. It's going to fuel you. And also understand that you're going to be eating a lot after the first few weeks, and you're going to need a lot of food. So my rule of thumb in planning nutrition is 100 calories per ounce. This is because you're going to be needing a lot of food, but you're going to be wanting to keep your pack light. So you don't want to bring, for example, a banana. A banana is probably like 6 ounces or something, and it's only 100 calories. You want to bring a bag of M&Ms, which is 160 calories per ounce, instead of like 20 calories per ounce with a banana. Unfortunately, you won't be able to really bring fresh fruit or veggies on trail, so that's something you want to be eating more of in town. But just bring whatever you can think of. This trail is basically your one chance to eat whatever you want, and still lose a lot of weight. First of all, you're going to eat it all. Second of all, you're going to need it all. And hopefully bring the food that you enjoy, and that's calorie dense, and that'll set you up for success. You're going to lose weight anyway, so you need the nutrition and you need the food for your body to keep on going and keep itself from being injured and to fuel itself to hike big days. So eat whatever you can, and also you're going to lose weight regardless if that's something you're worried about. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are my top tips I would think about and do while hiking. I hope this is helpful. Let me know what other things you want to know about in the comments. And also, go hike. I promise you, it'll be the best experience of your life. And don't let it pass. Start preparing today. Or let's say it's not a hike for you. Let's say it's a road trip across America or a trip somewhere. Do something out of your comfort zone, big, something you have to prepare for, and I promise you, it'll be worth it, and you'll have the time of your life. The hike has shown me so many things. It was the best experience of my life. It was by far the hardest, but by far the best. And don't let limitations or other people's opinions stop you. People laughed at me. Not a single person thought I could last more than a day out there. Everybody doubted me. They told me to go do something else or go climb a mountain in the place I live instead. But this was a goal of mine, and I wanted to make sure to do it. So don't let other people's opinions draw you back from your dreams, and go set out and make your dreams come true and have the time of your life. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye. So many cars are just staring at me with my phone on a tree, talking in shorts in the middle of a snowfield.